Hello and welcome back to Lessons in Attachment. Today's episode, I want to talk to you about four automatic cognitive reactions that we have when our anxious attachment becomes triggered. So, when there is a threat to your relationship, when something happens where you're doubting your relationship, you're worried about it, we have different reactions that can happen cognitively, mentally, that I want to talk through with you, just so that you can build your own self-awareness, so that you can know what you're dealing with when you're triggered. Because the sooner you catch that, the better. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Carly Ann, the very proud founder of the Attachment Recovery Gym, which is your online membership for all things helping you move from anxious attachment towards secure. It's full of education and practical tools. It's for those of you that are really in that learning and taking action phase of your healing. I deliver interventions from over a decade of professional experience and 3 decades of personal experience. The Attachment Recovery Gym is for those of you that are determined to become secure and you are ready to take action. Let's dive into today's episode. But you know what? Before I forget, the reason I am really diving in at the moment to going from anxious towards secure is because I have been working behind the scenes on my course, Becoming Secure. And as part of that, I have created a free workshop for you. So, as I'm talking through this today, just know that my free workshop, moving from anxious attachment towards secure, can be accessed immediately. I'll put it in the description. And I do talk about this. This is just one of the interventions that I discuss to help you to move towards secure. Yeah, there's so much more in this workshop. What is anxious preoccupied? How is it developed? What's secure attachment? How do we move from anxious towards secure? And I give you several interventions to support that. So if when I get to the end of this episode, you're asking, that's great, but how? The how will be in that free workshop. I literally have a whole other slide that follows these cognitive reactions that helps you get started and gives you an idea of what you can actually do next. Because I know we want to take action as well. But for today, let's just share these four types of reactions, and then you can have a think about which ones you fall into and whether you were aware of this or not already. So, the first reaction cognitively that we have is our automatic thoughts. So these thoughts are the internal dialogues we have with ourselves. So for those with an anxious attachment style, these are the thoughts that really tend to revolve around that fear of abandonment, that they don't care, doubts about your self-worth. They're the stories that automatically come into our mind. Usually they are negative. Usually they are anticipating something bad to happen. So an example would be, what if they don't really love me? I'm not good enough for them. So you'll have a thought. Such thoughts can be really persistent, they can be overwhelming. And our thoughts impact not only how we feel, but also what we do. So these thoughts, these stories usually lead to us seeking that reassurance, sending all of those text messages. It can put that kind of strain on our relationships, as well as lead to how we're feeling, that anxiety, sadness, or anger. So just take a moment to consider, what kind of thoughts do you notice you have when your anxious attachment becomes triggered? The next reaction we might have is images. Yeah, so this is one that really can get bypassed, and you might miss this if you don't pay attention. Images are these vivid mental pictures that can suddenly appear in your mind. And actually, when it comes to me working with people with anxious attachment, it's often the images that are creating an awful lot of panic, an awful lot of upset. Your mind doesn't know that this isn't real. You're seeing it and living it as if it's real. Images for someone with an anxious attachment style, these can often be like catastrophizing, worst case scenarios, and really bring in that kind of physical fear. Examples might be visualizing your partner with someone else, or imagining them leaving you. And you're literally seeing this in your mind's eye. They are intrusive images that can trigger real strong emotions. And again, that insecurity, that fear, and taking that action to try and prevent this from happening. Now, I do just want to say here that there is help for this. Yeah, we can do imagery work around this. And I think that's really key to know. The next reaction is having memories. Memories like recollections of past experiences that resurface when you're triggered, often by a current situation, by a current event, and you're having memories of things that have happened in the past. Anxiously attached individuals might actually revisit these memories or past rejections, past things that you've experienced, especially like, let's say, as an example, remembering a painful breakup or a time that you felt neglected by a loved one, or your current partner does something that reminds you of an ex-partner, and you have all of those memories coming up. And again, they can evoke those same emotions, and not only that, or those intense emotions. And not only that, but they can also bring up other similar memories. Like then you're remembering all the times that someone hurt you, and you can really go down this rabbit hole of memories. And using that is evidence to even back up those earlier negative thoughts, using these memories to back up the reasons that you're not good enough and the negative thoughts that you're having. And they all really combine as one. And that can be so difficult when you're in that moment. And when you're not aware that that's happening, you really lose yourself in this current situation. And you'll even like maybe think or treat your current person as if they are someone from the past. The next reaction are flashbacks. Now, flashbacks are more intense and vivid than memories. Now, they can really make you feel like you are quite literally reliving a past experience in the present moment. For those with an anxious attachment style, flashbacks are often involving moments of really high emotional distress, maybe even traumatic. Now, all of these, I do believe that we will do our best if we have help to overcome them. I would say, particularly imagery, the images and the thoughts, we can probably do through some self help, depending on how deep it goes, how much it triggers our core beliefs. When it comes to the memories and flashbacks, especially, you might well need help. Okay. You might need professional help with this. So I just really want to put that out there because it's really important that I'm honest about this. An example of a flashback is experiencing, like I said, sudden, intense recollection of perhaps something that happened where maybe you even felt like you were in danger. Maybe you really recall feeling that sense of threat at that time. And the flashbacks now, it might be certain smells, certain senses that really get heightened in that moment. And they can be extremely distressing, making it really difficult to stay grounded in the present moment, making it really difficult to just use the grounding tool that you read about. So I just really want to put that out there so that you know that you're not broken. These are things that you can get help with and that you might need to get help with. Like I said, in the free workshop, moving from anxious attachment towards secure, there is like literally tips there for what you can do next to help you. So I do recommend that if you're listening to this and thinking, wow, like I do have the memories and I also have the negative thoughts. Maybe it's a combination of all of them. Go and watch that free workshop and get the next steps. I know it's a little bit like clickbaity, but really it's partly to do with time that I have to record this as well right now. So let's be honest. So go and watch that. And I also think you'll get so much out of the workshop anyway. So just a little reminder, okay, these are automatic responses. You're not choosing them. We can't like have control over our automatic responses, But there are things that we can do so that over time we can change those reactions. Sometimes it is about making these things um, like a horror movie you've seen where it's a bad memory, but it doesn't just pop up all the time. It doesn't surprise you like that first time you see a horror movie where you don't know what's round the corner or you don't know when it's going to pop up or you've got no control. It is like choosing to put that horror movie on and knowing what's going to happen. And it is less intense because you know what is coming. Yeah, you can recognize what you're experiencing. So it's not that you'll never have these thoughts again. It's not that you're gonna suddenly not care about those past memories or experiences or fully believe that you're the worthiest person in the world. But if you can catch yourself, if you can reprocess, if you can learn to um, kind of store these memories and these images or reframe them in a healthy way, that is going to help your well-being. And this is all part of becoming secure because people with an anxious attachment, you've been through so much, you're holding so much in your body, whether you remember it or not. And so this is part of our journey. Yeah. So to really recognize these automatic responses, don't beat yourself up, have self-compassion, be kind to yourself. Just take this as food for thought. Come on over to my Instagram, carly.ann underscore. Let me know your key takeaway. Go to the description and get your hands on that free workshop. I'm going to be back here soon, still thinking about this journey from anxious towards secure, but I am going to leave you with a bit of a reflective question today. So before we wrap up, just take a moment to consider what are the reoccurring thoughts or images that often arise when you are triggered. If you can recognize that, recognize when your insecurity is triggered, you're going to give yourself a better chance in that moment of coming back home to yourself. Now, don't forget, I really do believe in our capacity from my own experience and from what I see with the people that I work with to move towards secure. When we trip, we get up and we go again. And I really do believe that you deserve a healthy, happy love in your lifetime. Thank you for being here. I don't take it for granted, and I will be back here very soon.